On this episode of On the Daily, we are going to be talking about the collective frequency, that collective feeling that everyone has had over the last couple of weeks, and my thoughts on it, because I think there's a little bit of societal conditioning happening. I also think that there's a little bit of this is a pattern, and I want to bring light to it so that we can finally move past it, because it's all a choice. And if you have been feeling a little bit of anxiety or stress or just like, over the last couple of weeks, then this episode is for you. So keep listening. Hey, friend. Welcome to On the Daily. I'm your host, Danielle McCleary, and I am a quantum business coach. I'm the host of this podcast. I'm a multi-six-figure entrepreneur, co-founder and president of Hype You Media, and CEO of Danielle on the Daily Coaching. What I'm really interested in is helping you live a life and have a business that is a full body yes. So through all of my education and all of my experience, I'm bringing you 2 episodes a week where I will guide you and give you the tools necessary to scale a massive, sustainable, and sexy business using your intuition, wealth energetics, and human design. What we can call it is business biohacking. So if you're down for that, then I say let's frickin' go. I'm so glad you're here. I am hosting a VIP weekend at my house. And last time we did this, I had a huge wait list, and I got so excited about it that we just decided to do another one kind of back to back. And we're doing another one October 13th through 16th. It is called Expand the VIP Weekend. And I only have 2 spots. Like, this is a very intimate experience, kind of like a VIP day, but for 2 people. But it's a weekend where you come to my house. It's an all-inclusive trip. So you pay $5,000. Everything else is included. You don't spend a dime else. You don't spend a dime while you're here. Not on food, not on transportation, not on your flights, not on your room and board, nothing. It is completely covered. And we are hosting it from the 13th to the 16th of October. And I have 1 spot available. And it's a spot that is, I know the person who's going to get it's going to be perfect and it's going to be magical. And last time we did this, we had a private chef. We had like deep conversations about life and business and relationships and self in our pajamas on the couch. We went out to fancy frickin' dinners. We did sound baths. We went to yoga. We went paddleboarding on the lake. We did so many things. We expanded our mind. We raised our frequency so high that one of the girls that was at my retreat literally said she went home and no matter what happened, she was like, nothing can touch me. I am so confident in who I am and where I'm going that nothing can touch me. And it was such a beautiful thing to hear. But I have 1 spot available for October. And if you want it, you got to slide into my DMs on Instagram, Danielle_on the daily, and we will ask you a few questions. The only thing you need to do to secure your spot is a $1,500 deposit. And then the rest of it just has to be paid by October 7th. So you have a few weeks to get it together. And we will book your flights. We send gifts. We have your car waiting for you at the airport, all the things. It is a completely inclusive experience once you pay for that initial $5,000 investment, but it's going to be a blast and I want you there. So if this is you, DM me and let's go. I decided to make this a live on my Instagram at the same time that I'm recording the episode because I just feel like this is something that is so important to talk about. So this is a double, you might have already heard this, whether you're listening to it live on Instagram or you're coming in and you're listening to it on the podcast. You may have heard it in either place, but I wanted to do this as a dual episode, both on the podcast and on Instagram. So if you're coming in on Instagram, hello. Hello. If you're listening to this on the podcast, hello. Okay. I want to talk about something that my mastermind is talking about today. We actually had this conversation today. We were literally just having it like 5 minutes ago. And I was like, I need to go live and talk about this because this is a really big deal. And what we're going to talk about today is this collective feeling, this collective energy, this collective anxiety, or this emotional state that everyone's been in over the last few days, maybe for the last week. If you are listening to this on Instagram and the last couple of days you've been highly emotional or you've felt a lot of anxiety, or if you're just feeling this like feeling around your work, around your relationships, tell me. tell me in the chat. I'm seeing a comment that says 7-planet retrograde. Yes. And a lot of those planets have actually come out of retrograde now. And so, yes, this collective energy that we're all tapped into, Scorpio is passing the moon. And that is always a very deeply intuitive and emotional time. That goes without saying. However, I have another theory, and that theory is the holidays, right? Q4, the holidays are coming, and our conditioning, the conditioning that we all have on this planet, and this is perpetuated by the media, this energy of everyone struggles at the holidays. The holidays are crazy. People struggle to put food on the table. There's never enough money to pay for all the things you need to. What else is said? Oh, we have to spend time with our, the family members that we don't want to spend time with. Like there's just like there's a lot of conditioning around this time of year. And so what happens as a collective is we buy into it. We buy into that energy, and then everybody will brace. I call it like bracing for impact. Everyone's like, oh, the holidays are coming, and I just have to I have to like shrink up. I have to tighten up. I have to make myself smaller. And what I want you to understand is that you actually don't have to do that. You don't actually have to brace for impact. You get to choose to rise above that frequency. And even if the frequency around you is like so tight, is so like bleeding into your everyday, you do not have to fall for it. So if you are feeling this collective anxiety, if you're feeling stress, if you don't understand why you're waking up every day either wanting to cry or wanting to murder someone, part of it is there were 7 planets in retrograde. The other part of it is that the moon is literally being passed through Scorpio right now. And that is also a very emotional sign, and it's a very intuitive sign. And so you may be taking on the energy of people around you. I spent a lot of time alone the past couple of days because I was so affected by other people's energy. And there is a collective frequency of this time of year where everyone starts to brace. And they start to brace for impact, or they start to brace for what's to come, or they start to preemptively stress about November, December, January. And maybe that's because at work, you know that this time of year you are stressed. Maybe that's because this time of year your family goes into like tighten up mode. Maybe that's because your family is a shit show, and actually like hanging out with your family the whole during the holidays is like not a good time. Maybe that's because in the past, like putting presents under the tree or like getting presents for the holidays or like cooking for your family is a stressful situation. Maybe that's because you have lost someone and the holidays are really not that awesome. That is kind of it for me. Like since my dad died, I kind of go, ugh, like I don't really want to do anything for the holidays. Like I kind of start to feel that, and I start to feel that around September, October. So what can we do? And what I think that we forget is that we always have a choice. You always have a choice as to what you're going to be affected by and what you're not going to be affected by. And sometimes, we can be affected by things that have nothing to do with us. So sometimes we can wear the energy of the people around us. Other times we can quite literally just be bracing for something to go wrong before it ever happens. And like, how unhelpful is that? That is so unhelpful. That is so not a good feeling. And in my mastermind this week, we've been talking, and today specifically, we've been talking about this, and everyone is kind of like, yeah, I've been feeling a dip in business. Yeah, I've been feeling really uninspired to post. Yeah, I've been feeling really weird about showing up. Yeah, I've been feeling really exhausted. Yeah, I've been feeling X, Y, and Z. And so that kind of gave me this like feeling of, oh my gosh, this isn't just like a one-off thing. Like this really is a collective frequency. And we get to choose what we will buy into and what we will not buy into. And listen, like societal conditioning wants us to be a little bit stressed and have anxiety and all these things, because typically when we're stressed, what do? We stress eat. So we eat more, we drink more, we buy more. Right. And so if we're in this hyper aware state, this hyper tense state, this hyper state of anxiety or stress or scarcity, then chances are we are going to drink more, which means buy more alcohol. We're going to eat more, which is like buy more food. And we're probably going to shop more and then go more into debt, which again, the debt collectors love that. So you get to choose whether or not you're going to tap into that or not. You get to choose whether or not you're going to be a part of that. And I choose to not be a part of that. And this is why, like in my mastermind this week, we are having a Q4 virtual retreat where we're going to get clear on what Q4 looks like from our mindset perspectives, our relationships, our businesses, what we're going to be selling, what we're not going to be selling, what we're going to be creating, what we're not going to be creating, because I don't like to brace for impact. I like to breathe. I like it to feel good. I like my body to feel good. And that is a choice that everyone can make. And so the reason I wanted to come on today and the reason why I wanted to make it like both an Instagram live and a podcast was because if you aren't tapping in to yourself and you are allowing either patterns to affect you, other people's energy to affect you, and therefore the success of your business hangs and dies on whether or not you are in a good mood, that's a problem. So the advice I'm going to give you is learn how to tap into actually how you're feeling, learn how to tap into what actually makes sense for you right now. And are there ways that you can put plans in place so that you don't have to be living in scarcity, so that you don't have to brace for impact, so that you don't have to be afraid of like what's to come or not to come? Because that's a really terrible feeling and nobody wants to feel that way. So I hope this was helpful, but just know that that collective frequency, it's all conditioning, and you get to make the choice whether or not you're going to subscribe to it or not. And if you're done subscribing to it, you can always come join us in my mastermind where we're going to plan all this out so that you don't have to worry about it, so that it can just be an afterthought, so that you can actually enjoy your time, so you can feel peace in your body, so that you can actually like rest and relax and recharge and recover and actually let the holidays be what they are supposed to be, which is a time for love and a time for giving and a time for being with people. But anyway, I digress. I hope this was helpful. And if it was, just comment. Let me know if you had any ahas with this. And as always, I'll be back soon. I'll be back with another episode. Love ya.